Jordan got a raise last year, 8%. His boss called him into the office, shook his hand, told him he'd earned it. Jordan felt like he'd won something. He went home and told his girlfriend, he told his parents, he even changed his LinkedIn. But here's the strange part. A year later, Jordan feels poorer. Same raise, same job, same bank account, technically bigger than before, and yet somehow groceries feel tighter. Rent eats more of his paycheck than it used to. That vacation he was planning keeps getting pushed back. Jordan starts wondering if he's bad with money. Maybe he's spending carelessly. Maybe he needs a budgeting app. Maybe he just needs more willpower. But Jordan isn't bad with money. Jordan just doesn't understand inflation. And that one gap in understanding is quietly draining his paycheck every single month without him ever noticing the leak. Most people think of inflation as a news headline, something politicians argue about, something that shows up in a chart on TV with red arrows pointing up. It feels distant, abstract, like weather happening in a country you don't live in. But inflation isn't distant at all. Inflation is happening directly inside your wallet, right now, every time you buy something. And if you don't understand how it works, you will spend your entire life feeling like you're falling behind without ever knowing why. So let's fix that. Let's actually understand what inflation is, why it happens, and why it might be the single most important financial concept nobody ever taught you. Here's the common belief. Most people think money is just money. $1 today is $1 tomorrow is $1 next year. If you have $100 in your pocket, that $100 will always buy you $100 worth of stuff. This feels true because dollars don't visibly change. They don't shrink in your wallet. The number on your paycheck doesn't rewrite itself overnight, so your brain naturally assumes the value is fixed too. But that assumption is wrong, and it's wrong in a way that costs people real money for their entire lives. Money isn't a fixed thing. Money is a measuring stick, and here's the twist nobody tells you. The measuring stick itself keeps shrinking. Think about it like this. Imagine you're using a ruler to measure how tall your kid is every year and you mark it on the wall. Except imagine quietly, without you noticing, that ruler gets a little bit shorter every single year. One year it's 12 real inches, next year it's acting like 12 inches, but it's actually only 11.5. The year after, 11. Your kid would look like they're growing faster than they really are. The marks on the wall keep climbing higher, but some of that growth isn't real growth at all. It's just the ruler lying to you. That's exactly what's happening with your money. The number on your paycheck might be going up, but the ruler you're using to measure what that number is actually worth, what it can actually buy, keeps quietly shrinking. That shrinking ruler is inflation. Let's make it concrete. Imagine your grandmother back in the 70s could buy a full cart of groceries for $20. Bread, milk, eggs, meat, vegetables, all for a crisp $20 bill. Today, that same cart might cost you well over $100. Did groceries suddenly become 5 times more valuable? No, the food is basically the same. What changed is the value of the dollar itself. Each dollar today can measure less real stuff than it used to. This happens for a simple reason. Every year, more money gets printed and circulated through the economy. Governments do this to keep economies moving, to fund programs, to manage debt. But when there's more money chasing the same amount of goods and the same number of houses and the same number of loaves of bread, prices naturally get pushed upward. More dollars competing for the same stuff means each individual dollar becomes worth a little less. It's like a pizza cut into 8 slices at a party. If 10 more people suddenly show up and you still have the same one pizza, you don't cut fewer people out, you cut more slices. Now everyone's slice is thinner. The pizza didn't get bigger, it just got divided more times. That's inflation. The economy is the pizza. Money is the slices. Every year, more slices get cut, and your slice, unless you're actively doing something about it, gets thinner and thinner, even if the number of slices you're holding goes up. Now here's where it gets personal, and here's where Jordan's raise comes back into the picture. Jordan got an 8% raise. Great news, right? Except that same year, inflation quietly ran at around 6%.
That means prices on almost everything, rent, food, gas, insurance, crept up by roughly 6% too. So Jordan's real gain, his actual increase in purchasing power, wasn't 8%, it was closer to 2%. His paycheck grew, but his ruler shrank almost as fast as his raise grew. He felt richer on paper and poorer in real life, because on paper is exactly where the illusion lives. This is the part almost nobody tells you. A raise that doesn't outpace inflation isn't really a raise. It's a treadmill. You're working harder, running faster, and standing in almost the exact same place. And this is where psychology sneaks in and makes everything worse. Humans are wired to focus on numbers, not on meaning behind numbers. Psychologists call this money illusion. Our brains see a bigger number and instinctively register it as more, even when the real-world value hasn't actually grown. It's the same reason a menu item priced at $9.99 feels dramatically cheaper than $10, even though the difference is basically nothing. Our brains latch onto the surface of the number, not the depth of what it actually represents. And this is exactly why Jordan felt confused. His brain saw 8% raise and filed it under winning. It never automatically calculated the invisible cost sitting underneath it. Nobody's brain does that by default. You have to consciously train yourself to look past the number and ask the real question: what can this number actually buy me this year compared to last year? And this single psychological blind spot is why so many people feel like they're working harder every year but somehow falling further behind. It's not laziness, it's not bad budgeting, it's that they're only tracking the numbers going up, not the invisible ruler shrinking underneath those numbers. So what does this actually mean for how you should think about money? First, it means cash sitting completely still is not actually safe. It feels safe because the number never drops. Your savings account balance doesn't go down overnight. But if that money is earning little to no return while prices around it keep rising, your money is quietly losing real value every single year, even while the number stays exactly the same or grows just slightly. Stillness feels safe. Stillness is actually a slow leak. Second, it means the real question to ask about any raise, any savings account, any investment isn't did the number go up, it's did the number go up faster than prices did. That's the only version of growth that actually means anything in real life. Third, and this is the deeper insight, it means that simply working hard and earning more money by itself is not a wealth-building strategy. If your income grows at the same pace as inflation, you are not building wealth. You're maintaining a very tiring stalemate. Real wealth building requires your money to grow faster than that shrinking ruler, consistently over time. This is exactly why long-term investing exists as a concept in the first place. It's not just about growing your money in some vague sense. It's about outrunning the shrinking ruler. Historically, simply holding cash under a mattress or even in a low-interest savings account has historically lost value to inflation over long stretches. Meanwhile, assets like index funds, real estate, and ownership in growing businesses have historically grown faster than inflation over long stretches, which is the entire reason people invest instead of just saving. You don't need to become an economist to use this. You just need to change one habit. Whenever you hear a number about your money, a raise, a savings rate, an investment return, train yourself to instantly ask, is this actually beating inflation, or does it just look bigger? That single question separates people who build real wealth over decades from people who feel busy their entire working life without ever quite understanding why they never seem to get ahead. Let's go back to Jordan one more time. A year after his raise, once he actually understood this, something shifted. He stopped celebrating raw numbers. He started asking sharper questions. Is this savings account rate actually beating inflation, or is my money quietly shrinking while it sits safely? Is this investment growing faster than prices are rising, or is it just an illusion of growth? He didn't need a finance degree to ask these questions. He just needed to see the ruler. And that's really the point of all of this. Inflation isn't some abstract economic force happening far away from your life. It's happening every single time you open your wallet, every single time you check your paycheck, every single time you decide whether to save, spend, or invest. Your paycheck isn't just a number, it's a measurement taken with a ruler that never stops quietly shrinking in the background. The people who build real, lasting wealth aren't necessarily the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who understand the ruler. They're the ones who stopped asking how big is my number and started asking how much can my number actually buy this year compared to last year. Because in the end, money was never really about the number on the page. It was always about what that number could actually measure.